Hi everyone, and welcome to Rich Girl Book Club, the place to be if you want to be a little bit richer, a little bit smarter, and a little bit hotter. I'm Jess, and I would love you to join the club so that we can achieve all of our goals and then some. So, I almost said episode, today's video is about the 8 big things that I have learned since tracking a budget for almost 5 years. So for context, I graduated from college in 2020. I am a finance interested girl. I majored in finance and economics. I've always been interested in business and spreadsheets and all of that. So that is something that has come naturally to me that I would like to share with you. So starting my first corporate job after graduating, I started my budget and started tracking all my expenses and all my paychecks and incomes, and I have been keeping that up for almost 5 years. I've definitely learned a lot since then, and I'm gonna share that with you. So let's get into it. The first thing I learned is that this might be a hot take. Those expense items that everyone has demonized might not be the problem. So, for example, I'm talking about your coffee shop coffee. All of the finance gurus love to tell you to stop spending all your money on coffee out at places. My perspective, and from looking at my budget, the coffee out has never been an issue. I've never really regretted spending money on a coffee out somewhere. It's a nice treat, it's something that I like, and I can run the numbers and tell you it's not affecting my finances. So by budgeting, you can find out what that is for you. It's like for us, like what does that expense really look like for you, or is it just the noise from everyone else on the internet? Something to think about. So that brings me into number 2, which is kind of the opposite, which is interesting. But this is about lifestyle inflation or lifestyle creep. And the thing I learned here is that it is very real, and just being aware of it isn't enough to stop it. So if you're unfamiliar, this is the concept that as you start to make more money and your income goes up, your spending also goes up with it incrementally. So you think, you're making more money, but you're also spending more money. So you're becoming less profitable, right? So maybe you just got a $3,000 annual raise, but you start spending $3,000 more a year. And that's okay to make that choice, but it's just the creep that happens without realizing it. Like you're like, okay, I'm making more money, so I can buy that more expensive thing, or I can splurge a little bit more here and there. And you can, that's a choice to make, but you just have to notice it and realize what's happening. And it's really easy to not notice it when it's happening. And the piece is that it doesn't just happen all of a sudden. It usually starts creeping up slowly. So if you're budgeting, you're able to identify if lifestyle creep is happening to you and what you want to do about it. And it really was a shock to me when I started making less money, when you start going backwards. And then you're like, oh, I need to do a little lifestyle deflation. So definitely something to look out for is lifestyle inflation is real, and it could be happening to you. Next on the list is budgeting does not have to be a restriction. So when we think of budgeting, we think I can only spend X amount of dollars on this category and I'm restricted. But the benefit of budgeting is really the tracking piece, being able to see what you're really spending on. I honestly have called my budget a spend analysis the whole time I've had it, because I do have like numbers that I'm trying to stay under, but it's really more beneficial to see what are my spending habits like, and am I okay with it? Restriction is not good. Restriction is not very healthy. So let's think about it a different way. I think of budgeting as spending more on what really brings value to your life and what you love, and spending less on things that don't bring you value, right? So if getting a lot of takeout is something that you really love and is convenient for you and fits your lifestyle, great. But if it's on the other hand, where it's something that doesn't bring you a lot of joy, doesn't make you feel good, then cut there so that you have more money for concerts, for trips. Same thing for clothes, for example. Like maybe having outfits and clothes that you really love and enjoy, like that just makes you so happy, then yes, spend on that. But on the flip side, if that's something that you regret spending money on clothes, or you have too much clothes and it doesn't really fit into your value and your goals in life, then that's somewhere where you can cut, right? So instead of restricting everything, we're swapping stuff around. And so where I really learned this was from finance guru Ramit Sethi, and he says to spend extravagantly on the things that you love and value in life, and to cut ruthlessly on the things that you don't. And that has been something that I've tried to apply as I'm budgeting. Next on the list is having good financial habits. So having a budget that you're updating each month, that is a great habit in itself, right? It keeps you on top of your expenses that are coming through. It's a lot more difficult to have an expense kind of slip through the cracks and not notice that, oh, I got double charged for this, or oh my gosh, I have this subscription that I really thought that I canceled. That is a great habit number one, is the budgeting itself. But another piece here that I've learned in addition to that is other habits that actually are less work for you. So what I used to do is at the end of each month, I would say, oh, I have this amount extra that I profited that month. Maybe I didn't spend as much, right? And I'm like, okay, well, I can move that into savings or I can move that into investments. Now what I do is I just have automatic investing, automatic savings from my paychecks. And that way it's streamlined, it's consistent, it's a regular basis, it's investing at different intervals, and it's not just, I feel like I could save $100. I feel like I could invest $50, right? There's less decision making and it's all automated. And that is really key. And those habits are going to pay off so much. You're not even going to notice that the money is not there. So instead of taking time every month to make this decision, set up your paychecks to automatically invest and save for you. And you can start off you can do a really, really small amount and see how that goes for a couple months and then gradually increase it or bring it back down depending on if things change. Number 5 on the list is the true empowerment that understanding your finances gives you, right? When big purchases come up, you can think about them with confidence. You have a plan. You know what you spend. You know what you make. You can figure out what you can afford a lot easier. Affordability is a really interesting topic that I will be talking about soon, but overall, it's just so empowering to know what's going on with your finances. I know it's so tempting to close the door and say, ignorance is bliss. Like, truly, I understand that, but it's really not. And if you think that, oh, I pay my bills, I always pay off my credit card, like I'm fine, right? But you could be even better. And this information is empowering, even if you're not a data numbers girl, I promise. Number 6, this might be my favorite one, is that you are a business. I have learned through tracking my finances that I'm a business, right? As a person, I make money and I spend money. A business brings in money and has expenses. It's the same thing. I have a profit that I make every month. I have long-term business goals, right? And what I mean by this is, as a business the business that you are, like, your finances determine where you go on trips, where you live, like how you support your kids and your family in the future. Like, it really just colors your life. Your business is your life, and how do you want your life to look? So think about it as a business, and you don't want to let your business just go off the rails or do whatever, right? You want to be in control of your business and think about it that way. Think about future investments, right? While also still spending on the things that bring you lots of joy. And the last thing I want to share with you today that I've learned about budgeting is that a small amount of time can literally make you so much money in the future. What am I talking about, right? Like, setting up a budget now, setting up automatic savings and investings, setting that up right now, you're going to be so happy you did it in 6 months, in a year, in 5 years. You're going to be so happy that you started now and can see your progress. Like, seeing the progress that you make through budgeting, through saving and investing, it's addicting. It feels so good, right? Like, you think spending money feels really good? Wait until you save and invest. Like, that also feels really good. So that is something else that I have learned, is that if I just put a little bit of time now, a little bit of intention behind where my money's going, how I'm saving and investing, like, it can pay off in tenfold down the line. Like, one decision I made in 2021 when I started investing in the stock market has made me so much money, truly. If I had kept pushing that off and say, oh, I'll do it later, I'll do it when I have more disposable income, I would have lost out on so many savings. So thank you so much for watching. These are all the things that I have learned through budgeting my money over 5 years. Please join Rich Girl Book Club. If you want to be a little bit richer, a little bit smarter, and a little bit hotter, join me. I am learning along the way with you. So if you are interested in this type of content, please subscribe and drop a like if you learned anything from my tips today. Thank you so much. Bye.